Welcome back. This should be part 11 of the tutorial series. It's going to be Act 9, Part 2. We last left off after the birds fight in Synchro Spires. We're now at Skybase, so we've got about an hour or so left in the run at this point. You've got some big fights coming up, kind of one big dungeon, two big dungeons, I guess, in Skybase, and then the Fleshmancer's Lair. So let's dive right into it. Picking up where we left off, we just kind of came into Skybase here, and we're just going to proceed into the first fight. You can kind of get the back attack here by aiming off to the right. And you'll generally want to start by breaking locks on these guys, so go ahead and sword. Use your non-Valier character to do the bash locks if you get this set. So we'll take Pest and we'll break these. And then with the Valier, you're going to double charge, triple charge, and go Crescent Arc on the enemy that wasn't hit during those attacks. From here, you should just be able to Crescent Arc again and get yourself out of the fight. Little puzzle. So go through. And then use your grappler to get the, back attack on this fight as well. Assess what the first lock is, and then go ahead and break that lock. Either usually with Crescent Arc or Dash Strike. And then bring out Roshan and do an abeyance on the Yink. You want to drag everybody over to the same side so that any moves we do moving forward end up hitting everybody. And that you're not focusing on both sides of the room separately. You can do a Power Smash, and if you have any boost, go ahead and use that. They are weak to Arcane, so the best ends up being quite good here. And remember, if you charge Roshan's attack, he gets an Arcane element to his poison, so go ahead and utilize that as well. Age Ult rule, anything attack related. And then we'll hit the switch to go to the next area. Here you've got some of these spotlights to avoid. These ones aren't too bad. Go ahead and skip the scene. Wait for your opening. And you get a little gap you can jump through here. More skipping. You'll interact with this console, skip the scene. And then you get kind of this like low gravity area. As soon as you get on this platform, you just go ahead and hit the Grapplui. And same thing when you climb up here, just go ahead and hit it. You may want to check your MP real quick here, just to make sure that you have a Crescent Arc and or Dash Strike available. Since this fight will open up with 3 enemies that are going to throw locks always, and it's either going to be Crescent Arc or Dash Strike. So you get a couple options here. You can either open up by breaking. If you get a set of all 3 like this, it's kind of just in your benefit to go ahead and do this. Your other option is if you want to go ahead and use Conflagrate to try to end this fight as quickly as possible. Now, with the locks up, if you get a bad Conflagrate, you're going to end up taking some attacks afterwards, and you won't end up cleaning everybody up. So when you get a combination like this, I normally like to go ahead and just take this and sort of break them all. It is a little bit slower, but you give yourself the best opportunity to go ahead and sort of like clean up afterwards with that. Your other options are to just do the same sort of thing that you did in the last fight and just use Arcane as much as possible. But if we have Conflagrate, we still have a bit of dungeon ahead of us. Let's just go ahead and get it out, and hopefully you get a decent Conflagrate that is able to kill all three. Continue right along. And you're just doing some general platforming here. A bit of a difficult encounter to skip here. Watch for these beams, and you're going to want to go along this northern edge here. But waiting for your gap can be rather tricky in this one. Try to stay rather high up when you're in this section, because these beams do come up relatively high. And again, wait for your gap and make your way through. Don't kick yourself if you get this encounter. It's kind of a tricky one to get a hang of. In here, you have this kind of like double battery puzzle that you need to do. So on each side of the room, you have a battery that you need to push into the hole, and as long as you know how to complete the puzzle, there's really nothing, much to speak of here. You can hit this tile after you've done the first one to sort of move the orientation of the blocks on the ground. And try to hit the diagonal jumping off the top so that you just have one jump and not like a jump and a climb like I had there. Take a sec to assess your health, and if you need to petrichor, go ahead and do that. In this fight, you're just going to be breaking locks, similar to your other encounters with Yanks. When you get availability to best here, do a power smash boosted on this guy since he's weak to arcane, and the splash from that should hopefully clean up the other guy. You can ignore the chest in the back, it's not anything useful. A lot of just pressing on switches and skipping scenes here. Climbing an elevator, skipping a scene. Eventually you're going to head south here, and you got some more battles coming up, so if you're running a little low on MP, don't be afraid to kind of pop an MP item. Try to hold on to some of your better ones, but if you've got anything still kind of hanging on from earlier game, go ahead and use that up maybe. We have some drones in this fight, so of course we absolutely don't want to see a Hex Shield from any of them, so if you're able to break their first lock, go ahead and do so. And just kind of do whatever you need to get yourself quickly out of here. Same deal, give yourself a quick look over before you go into the next fight. Make sure you get the back attack so that you have a boost available so that you're able to handle situations like this. Again, you absolutely don't want those drones hitting their locks. The ink is not a big deal here, but the drone in particular, you do not want to see hex shields in any of these fights. You could, I suppose, have used Conflagrate in this fight to sort of wipe out your combo points, since you don't particularly need them at this point. So even with something like this done, like if there's something in your skill set that you could use that is, you know, quick against multiple targets, maybe you'll want to go ahead and use something like that. Everything here looks to be a single target, but maybe we could do like an X-Strike, for example. We'll do this for just learning purposes, I suppose. Normally I would just kind of finish this fight out quickly and with normal attacks, but realistically you don't need the combo points right now, and you're free to get rid of them. There's usually one level up where it's pretty much MP for everybody. It looks like it's this one. You have a chest up here in the corner, which is weapons for Sarai. Let's go ahead and equip those. And you're home free. You have a campfire coming up, as well as a shop, and then we have the boss. So this is going to be the last shop in the game. Take a chance here to heal yourself up and get prepared for this big shop. We're going to be topping up pretty much everybody with equipment with the money that we have remaining. So we're going to sell everything we have off as per normal. And as you see, we're pretty close to max money again here, so we can just absolutely go to town on everything, anything and everything here. So start with your equipment, top your characters up. And then if you really want to, you can purchase this for Roshan, but realistically, I don't know how much his weapons really even play into effect for his damage. Considering that he is primarily magic attack, as far as I know. So don't worry too much about his rosewood cork. It's not even that big of a jump, right? So the main thing is that you're topping up with all these armors for your characters, and you should already have like these weapons from finding them in chests earlier. So all topped up. With any money you have left over, Pandora is going to be a big one. Feel free to get a couple of parfaits. You really shouldn't need a whole lot of them. Pandora is going to be kind of the big one here, so go to town. Remember, there's no other shop after this, so use up whatever you have. And that's it, we're going into the boss. This boss is quite scripted, so it's pretty straightforward, and usually you can kind of stick to doing the same thing every time, and it will for the most part work. So following the script, we're going to start by attacking the left guy twice. And then we're going to double boost the right one. Oh, it was my bad. It was actually the left one we were supposed to do that on. Oops. So to counter that, you'll want to throw a Petrichor in here at some point. You know, this isn't the perfect example of the fight anymore, but you'll essentially want to attack on left, and then double boost on left, and that will take care of left entirely, and then you can kind of clean up on the right-hand side. You're going to want to throw a Petrichor in at some point here, so that you can start boosting your ultimate gauge, and kind of top yourself up a little bit from the damage that you took. But going into this phase 2, you're going to want to open this up with X-Strike to do damage on everything. So with Zale, go ahead and do that. And 2 of these are going to turn into heal bots. You're going to immediately focus on the heal bots after this. So these kind of ones with these display windows are going to be your heal bots. So with Sarai, go ahead and attack the one that has the lowest timer, and make sure that he's not able to heal any of his friends here. And for the other one, bring out the Leer and do a Crescent Arc on it. From here, do just basic attacks on one of the targets. And a boosted Sunball. You can utilize Roshan's Splash here to kill this one off and get a little bit more damage on this one, so go ahead and do that. Then you're going to use this Orient. This helps to boost your ultimate meter. You want this prepared before you go into the next phase. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to Petrichor again. And so, previous to the Dawn of Equinox update, this final phase was really easy with the Great Eagle, and because it would destroy all of the add-ons, essentially. But that doesn't particularly work anymore, so you still open up by doing that for, you know, timer reasons and to do a lot of damage and whatnot, but it doesn't quite bring you to the damage phase immediately like it used to. So you need to do a little bit more additional cleanup. Be careful of what you have available here for timers on people. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted. A lot of damage, but like killing everything else off except for it. We still need to get a couple of boosts going here before we like actually start the damage phase. Because the last thing we want is to have to go through a second damage phase. So we should be okay here. So now we're going for Conflagrate, fully boosted. Try to keep it tight. And then Phase Shiv will normally finish this, but if it doesn't, go ahead and do a Sunball afterwards. So at no point between now and the next fight does the game give you an auto heal, despite there being a ton of cutscenes, so make sure you take a heal here. And you're going to go to the Sea of Stars entrance. We have a bit of back and forth sort of running around to do here between both worlds. So the next couple minutes of the run is really just kind of a little fetch quest with a lot of story cutscenes weaved into it, which, you know, of course we don't really care about on the run. We're skipping all of it anyways. So it's really for us just a bit of a breather for a couple minutes while we run back and forth. So you're going to come back to the real world here, the original world, and you're going to come over to the Clockwork Island. And you're going to get a shortcut through the mountains here that you can take to bring you right to the front of the tower. Or the castle, I should say. Here you're going to be going directly straight through until you reach the room with all of the kids from earlier. Thankfully, puzzles are all still done from the first time you were here. It's just a matter of holding up and working your way through. And you'll talk to this character here. Now you're going to get a number of scenes. It's going to jump back and forth between Mirth and the castle. And there's going to be a little area where you'll gain access to gameplay again, and then a couple more scenes occur. So just kind of hold your cutscene buttons for now. Wait until you're able to play again. And it will put us back in Mirth. We'll have to make our way down to the boat. Right, so make our way down to the boat. Similar to before, we're just jumping the cliff. And so this will now take us to the castle right in the hallway. We're just going to hold up until we get to the next room, and it'll let the scene play out. And then we're done here. Should be now outside of the castle. We're going to work our way back over to the dock and to our boat. And we're going to head back to the Skybase again. This is really just kind of a big fetch quest to collect Artie. He's in your cargo now. Artie is a culmination of those characters and is very intelligent. So we're bringing Artie to Sarai's world to take a look at this machinery that we don't know anything about and don't know what to do with. You can use this as a teleport pad to go back and forth between the end of the area and the start of the area. Okay, so this unlocks the next Dweller boss for us. So now we can hop back onto our boat and go to the Sea of Stars entrance, make our way over to the boss, and hopefully things go well for us there. This is the Dweller of Dread. This is going to be the last Dweller that we face in the game, and it's a doozy. I'm going to save right here, actually. Of course, the video, kind of cuts around this point. You'll know the original fight went bad and we had to go at it again. This fight can be kind of scary. And so there's a bit of a toss-up that you can do here. Enchanted Scarf at this point can come off of Roshan and can go on either Valir or Zale. You can kind of take your pick on this one on whose ultimate you think you're going to end up leaning on a little bit more. Realistically, Dread can throw locks for Sun and for Moon, so it's not like you have a safe choice in picking one or the other. But if you feel like you're going to lean on Zale a little bit more for magic attack. Throw it on him. If you feel like you're going to lean or have been leaning on Valir a little bit more for magic attack and Moonarangs, feel free to throw it on her as well. I think in this case, I'm going to throw it onto Valir. And I'm going to give Dexter Spangle to Zale along with the green leaf, or the power belt. And we'll just kind of shift our gear around a little bit there. Similar to some of these other like endgame fights, there is scripts that you can follow along with that you may have to improvise slightly, but for the most part work quite nicely. For these first two arm phases, you're going to want to disorient. The one that has the most timers now, actually, I find works best. Just sort of gives you a little bit more breathing room to work with taking out the first one. But you're going to want to do this through a combination of crescent strikes, dash strikes, and normal attacks and disorients from Sarai. And if you're able to work through one of the arms rather quickly, what you may want to do is just take the hit so that you can start building MP just by doing a couple of normal attacks here. Because Magic Pocket doesn't quite work as well anymore, you kind of need to find other avenues of boosting your MP in some of these earlier phases of the fight without relying on Magic Pocket. Ooh, that is not what we wanted to see there. Wow, rough scene. You do want to be a little methodical in kind of how you handle these first two phases, and you really want to make sure that you're setting yourself up properly for the beginning of the next phase. So now with everybody out, I'm going to swap her out, and I'm going to go ahead and do a Petrichor here. I'm going to use Magic Pocket first to Pandare, and then I'm going to Petrichor. And then we're going to be set up after that to kind of go into the final phase of the boss here. So we have our ultimate ready. This is another thing that we kind of need to have ready before we go here. And if your characters are at a bit of a lower level, there's a bit of an alternative kind of way that I like to go about this, but let's see what he hands us here, and let's see what we can do about it. So we got a sun on this one. This is some Solstice Strike stuff, so I'm going to start by going attack here. I'm not going to Solstice Strike this. Okay, now we're going to ultimate. That's going to break the arms. It's going to do a lot of damage on this guy, and it's going to set us up to begin doing a lot of damage here. So after this, let's take Sarai. And we're going to Moonerang. You don't want to try to take the opportunity to get the boost here because the arms might come back after this. So take this opportunity while he's alone to Moonerang him. Conflagrate to get a big boost back to your ultimate, and again try to keep it tight. Not a very good Conflagrate here. So that's going to complicate things a little bit. Working our way back up towards an ultimate again. And if you have to do Moonerang to do the splash damage kind of on these guys, don't worry so much about the time loss here. This fight is really more so about staying alive at this point. So if having to Moonerang on 3 targets is something you have to do, don't worry too much about that. Pandora when you have the pocket available to you. And we're going to disorient so we can get our targets back, and let's go ultimate here. Swap Sarai out for HP purposes. And as you do this fight a few times, you will start to become a little more familiar with his moveset and kind of how he reacts to things. And you'll kind of find your own way to go about this. Generally, you kind of want the arms to go away ASAP. They are quite dangerous, so it's just not good having them out and around. Arcane Moon actually does do some decent damage that says Moon element to it. And he's starting to look a little weak here. Moonerang should clean up and get us out of here. If not, stick a sunball on them afterwards. The Crustades that we picked up from Rapine, words, are excellent. Okay, so this is something we haven't had a chance to talk about. This is kind of a perfect chance to talk about it here. So, his ultimate actually, what it does is it takes one of the Solstice characters, either Zale or Valir, and pits them up against a shadow version of the opposite character. And so what's kind of really cool about this move is that if, for example, there are no Solstice characters out on the field at any point throughout this move, or at least when it gets cast, I can't exactly remember how this works, but if there is no Solstice character available, then he simply can't cast the move. So what he'll end up doing as a result is his normal attack, where he chomps down on the entire group. I don't think this should be considered a glitch in any sort of way. This is really just how the game handles the situation, because realistically, how else would it? So this should very much be considered an exploit in my eyes, and if you find yourself in a situation where you just end up having to take this attack, and you feel like the AoE attack of the chomp on your party is just a better outcome, feel free to swap Zale and Valir out of the party to avoid this attack entirely. Just a super neat little thing there. So I'm going to risk it here, and I'm going to go for the sunball because I think he's very close to death. I think this takes him out. And I was wrong, so, well, we get to see the move at least. And no, we don't get to see the move because I swapped the characters out, so perfect example of how that works. And I would think this would clean up. I'm not even going to, like, keep it. I'm going to end it right here. So again, there are some scripts for this to follow in the note set. Although you may want to improvise again, kind of similar to Medusa towards the end of the fight. Just kind of depending on how things are going for you. And we get a bunch of scenes here, and that kind of marks the end of Act 9. We have no money left. We spent all our money. So we're not stopping anywhere else. We're going directly to the final dungeon here. This is the Fleshmancer's lair, and that's going to be our final video. So we'll see you in the last and next final video for Act 10. I'll see you over there.